Welcome to Nerd on Nerd with me, Ellie Kempster.
And me, Liam Underwood. And in this episode, we're going to be talking, at last, it's the one you've all been waiting for. Liam has not stopped banging on about this since, episode 5. We're here. We're excited. We're overjoyed to finally be discussing Barefoot Gen.
Do you think it's appropriate that you sound so happy in this beginning bit?
Yeah?
Okay. First, though, before we get into that, it's time for catching up with Ellie and Liam, which is like the bit of the show that everyone loves, where we catch up with each other. Liam.
Yeah.
What have you been up to, mate?
Not a lot.
No, we recorded the last episode. Listeners, we're still on our sort of messed up schedule. The episode that we last recorded hasn't gone up yet.
Whose fault's
We're
that?
recording this one. I mean, it was meant to go up today, but
Whose
I've been
fault's
out all
that?
weekend.
Yeah, your fault. There we go.
I mean, your fault for throwing
Nah.
the entire podcast into disarray 3 episodes ago.
When did I do that?
Or 2 episodes ago.
Oh, the one where we recorded it late because you wanted to go to Pride so you could talk about it.
No, the one where you didn't read Spider-Gwen.
Oh, don't worry about that.
Exactly. Right. Anyway, there's been some stuff though, Liam, surely.
We had some rain.
Fascinating. Cool. I've done some stuff, Liam.
I'm thinking about what I've done. Thank you very much. So, okay. What have you done?
Liam, on Friday,
Yeah.
I went out for drinks with a friend who's been travelling the world for 2 years now.
Who's that then?
I'm not going to say his name on the podcast. That's not what you do on podcasts, really.
He is.
No, it isn't.
What?
You don't just randomly name people on podcasts.
I do.
Right, well, yeah, you do, yes. No, it's a friend. It's the person, one of the people I lived with when I lived in Battersea.
Okay.
He's back. We all went out for drinks, the whole friend group, who haven't been out as a group for quite a while. Got a little bit drunk, came home, slept.
Wow.
Did I throw up in the sink that day? Possibly. Can't remember. Definitely throw up in the sink at some point. Then Saturday, I met up with 2 people you know.
Who?
Mike and Ads.
Oh, yeah?
Met up with them. Went
How
out for
they
drinks in
doing?
London. They're good. They're good. We went and had... we drunk in a pub called Waxy O'Connor's, which is this Irish pub.
Yeah.
We did not know that there was the semi-finals, Liam, of the famous sport that you know and love, hurling.
Okay. Was it...
Great.
Was there people there, actually to watch that?
Yes, the pub was full. It was the semi-finals. It was rammed with people watching the hurling.
Okay.
Fastest land sport, Liam, I learnt from one of the Irish people at the pub.
Okay.
Went there, then we went and had mussels and chips. Because, London, get all that weird food. Mussels and chips isn't a particularly weird food, but a restaurant that primarily serves them is kind of odd.
Yeah.
Then went home. Then Sunday went out and saw a drag show.
How was that?
It was okay. I wasn't sure.
I've never seen a drag show before, so explain it to me.
No, so I don't think this is your sort of typical drag show.
Okay.
In terms of...
Was it Paul O'Grady?
Yeah, he used to do drag, right? Yeah?
Lily Savage?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Maybe kind of. I feel like he's maybe wasn't as dirty as these people were, because these ones were filthy.
Can you give me an example?
You're doing that thing where you just try to go into details and we've not even dealt with your original question. You're asking too many questions, Liam.
I'm very inquisitive. Our listeners know this.
Yeah, that's true. I'll deal with the first thing, Liam. It's not your typical drag show, I don't think, because that's usually from what I understand, in a club or something, and it's a whole show where there are loads of drag artists coming out and doing their thing. Yeah. This was a specific drag queen.
Yeah.
Who was headlining, someone called Bianca Del Rio.
So if she's headlining, she's probably famous for something?
Yeah, she was on RuPaul's Drag Race, from what I understand. I don't watch the show.
I've seen a couple of episodes of season 1, I think.
I've seen a couple of episodes randomly scattered throughout.
Yeah, it was a fine show. It's very it's that sort of trash TV kind of where it's entertaining. It's probably quite addictive if you get into it, like Celebrity Big Brother, Love Island, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I've got problems with RuPaul, so I had to explain to the people I was with that I probably wasn't going to go and watch RuPaul's Drag Race afterwards.
What are your problems with RuPaul?
He's done some pretty transphobic stuff in the past.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, no, it's a bit of a shame, seeing as the show's very popular, and I'm sure I would love it.
Does it not have any transgender people on it?
Yeah, and he was totally fine with the trans person. I know at least one trans person that was on it.
Right.
But a lot of stuff he does not on the TV show is problematic. The TV show itself isn't necessary. I mean, it is, in the first season, they had a segment called "You've Got Shemale,"
Okay.
which is not a great word that trans women love, and it's also not a word that typically the drag community had.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a problem when you're like,
what's that segment about?
They get mail.
Oh, okay. So it's just like they were trying to do like a play on words.
Yeah, it's a pun, but unfortunately using a slur that trans women don't particularly like.
Yeah.
And I think he was pretty anti-changing it, and then eventually changed it because he realised that maybe he was in the wrong. But anyway, this is all beside the point.
Yeah.
So
would it be kind of like if Gordon Ramsay had a cooking show and he had a white guest on and he had a segment that was like "Cracker, what's cracking?" and they just like cracked bread or something?
Well, no, because cracker's a slur, but it's not a slur that any white person would be offended by.
Oh, okay.
Whereas shemale is offensive.
Yeah. But I don't want to use any slurs that people would actually be offended by as an example.
Yes, it would be like if Gordon Ramsay had a segment that was very offensive.
Okay, cool.
You've managed to grasp what's going on here, Liam. Anyway, so I didn't... The main act, so this Bianca Del Rio person...
I've got it. Would it be like if Gordon Ramsay had a show and he had like a female guest on and he had a segment that was like, "Make me a sandwich"?
I mean, no, because that in itself isn't a slur. That's just an offensive stereotype.
Oh, okay. Sorry, carry on.
The main act, Liam, Bianca Del Rio...
Yes, she was on RuPaul's Drag Race.
She was.
I've been listening.
Her stuff was a little bit... She was sort of... Clearly, and understandably, I get why she was doing it, because clearly everyone there, or most people there, knew her from that. So a lot of her set was like jokes about people that had been on RuPaul's Drag Race.
Oh, not good material for you then.
No, I was sitting there like, every time she says a name, I'm assuming it's someone from RuPaul, and I don't know who they are, so I don't get the joke.
But was everyone else there laughing?
Oh, they were cracking up. They found it hilarious.
Fair enough.
So I'm sure she was good if you saw RuPaul's Drag Race. Some stuff wasn't RuPaul related.
Yeah.
That stuff was kind of funny.
Okay.
Her sort of shtick was that she was like, I'm going to say what I'm going to be super offensive in a drag way, but then also self-deprecating.
Yeah.
Because she made the joke of like, she was saying something offensive and then was like, and then I looked at myself and was like, "You're a 30-something-year-old man wearing a wig on stage. Who are you to judge?"
Okay.
So like, some of it was funny, some of it wasn't. A lot of it wasn't for people that didn't see RuPaul. But the opening act was a drag queen called Sherry Vine.
Okay.
Who, her thing was she did parodies of famous songs.
Yeah.
But she made them really filthy.
Yeah.
So she sung, instead of Hallelujah, she did How I Blew Ya.
Yeah, okay. So it's like a dirty Weird Al.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a very filthy Weird Al.
Any poker medleys?
No, she wasn't a poker drag artist.
It's a shame.
But no, she was really
awesome.
good. So I really enjoyed that bit of it. So I
Yeah.
was like, it's clearly not that I don't like drag. It's just that I don't like people making jokes about stuff that I don't understand.
Which I think makes sense, right?
Yeah. But I mean, it was still good. I still had a good time.
Yeah.
It was just, I didn't enjoy it as much as I would have, I think.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so that's all I've been doing, Liam. That's like a busy weekend.
Yeah. I tried to go to the cinema, but it didn't work out, so yeah.
Good story, Liam.
Thanks. But the good thing is, it means that I can now catch up on all of the things that you didn't let me do last time.
Yeah, yeah.
Most of the things, I'm still have to miss out on one.
Yeah.
So now it's time for the part of the show you've been waiting for.
Me?
Liam went to the cinema.
I haven't been.
The listener. Talking to the listener here.
Got you.
I'm talking to the part
The
of this
listener.
trio that actually matters. Now it's time for Liam went to cinema, and here's his spoiler-free review of the films that he saw at the cinema. I saw Skyscraper.
That's the one with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and he's in a skyscraper, and he's got a prosthetic leg.
Yes.
See, I know my stuff.
I saw some people on like social media and stuff being like, "Oh, this is terrible. They should have got someone with an actual prosthetic leg to play the part." And then on the radio, I think they were talking about this, someone with an actual prosthetic leg was like, "Why would someone with a prosthetic leg be headlining a multi-million-dollar movie? That doesn't make any sense." Dwayne does like a fantastic job of kind of portraying this sort of thing without making a big deal out of it.
Is the prosthetic leg like important to the film in any way?
Not like hugely. It's featured. You know, it has moments. There's a door that's shutting, and he stops it from shutting with it.
Oh, okay.
So you know, like it's used. Is it like entirely necessary? Probably not.
Yeah, I'm not saying whether it's. I'm not jumping on either side of the argument. I'm just...
Yeah, I guess, like, it's, you know, it's there.
Yeah.
They don't forget it, put it that way.
Okay.
The problem is, right, so basically...
That you can't watch the film because at the moment Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's on screen, you just stare at his amazing body for
there's that,
any time he's there.
The thing is, so it's the basic premise. It's the tallest building that's been created. Some bad people want to set it on fire, and Dwayne Johnson's family is stuck inside. What the character he's playing, and he's playing this very like sort of. It's weird, right? Because he's playing what should be an average guy, but he looks like Dwayne Johnson.
But isn't he meant to be like the head of security or something?
Yeah, but he's not.
So there's there's a reason for him to be.
Dwayne. Yeah, but I mean, like, so yeah, like from a job perspective, there's a reason why. But he's meant to be portraying like an almost like an everyman type of thing.
Oh, okay.
But he doesn't look like an everyman. Like,
he's very much not the everyman.
Yeah, and I think if you're gonna cast Dwayne Johnson in a movie, you kind of it helps. I think the movies that he's in that he does better in is when he sort of plays into that persona, and sometimes he'll do it in quite a tongue-in-cheek way.
Yeah,
and other times he'll do it like in the Fast and Furious way, where he just like revels in it and it's glorious.
Yeah.
This just didn't really have. It felt like the film wasn't particularly self-aware. It felt way too serious for a movie where, you know, Dwayne Johnson is leaping off of a super crane to get in above the flames into this.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I've
Like
seen that clip in the trailer.
Yeah, and it's on the poster, so it's not a huge spoiler.
Yeah, no.
But like, you should be having a bit of fun with a movie like that, I think.
Yeah, I mean, the best like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson films are the ones that are over the top, and I feel like
Jumanji.
Yeah, exactly. And like one of my favourite films to watch with him in it, which is not a good film, San Andreas.
Oh, I super like San Andreas.
It's not a good film.
I really enjoy it.
But it has a lot of fun elements to it that you can play, but I feel like only because Dwayne is in it.
Yeah, Alexandra Daddario is in it too, and she's sexy.
I just like playing, there's my favourite game with it, which is how many forms of transportation will he use in this film?
Yeah, it gets
he uses a lot.
Yeah. Helicopter,
I think at one point, a boat, he's got all sorts, Liam.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Sorts. It's great.
It's like Baywatch as well. Like he you know, that's another tongue-in-cheek kind of role. That's what I think he does best.
Oh, 100%, because he's got that kind of like, I don't know, there's just something about him when he's doing like a comedy sort of role in an action-y film.
Yeah.
And he just does it so well.
Like not only one of the greatest action films ever, but also the film that you kind of Skyscraper has to compare to in some respects is Die Hard.
Yeah.
And Die Hard has a lot of fun to it as well.
Yes, it does. That's true. Lots of catchphrases.
Exactly.
Does this have catchphrases?
Not really.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So Skyscraper also has Neve Campbell in it. I think that's how you say her name.
I recognise the name.
She is Sydney in Scream.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I love seeing her in a film. She's fine. She's given like some actually things to do, so that's kind of cool. She's not just like the damsel in distress.
Yeah, which is good.
Yeah,
that's bullshit.
So the villains in Skyscraper aren't very memorable whatsoever, and there's like real clunky foreshadowing. Like there's a room in this Skyscraper where all these like panels appear out of the ground, and you just, as soon as you see it, you're like, oh, okay, I know where the big like final act showdown's going to take place.
Yeah.
So it's like clunky stuff like that. 3 out of 5. It could have been so much better if it had just been fun. But it was just...
That's a shame.
And the other issue I have with it is it has like a lot of stunts, but you can kind of tell that they're all done via green screen, which just immediately removes the impressiveness of seeing a cool stunt.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because I love seeing stunts in films. Like, I like stunty films and car chasey films, and that's why I like Fast and Furious so much.
Yeah.
And if it's all green screen, what's the point?
Yeah, I get that.
So, that was Skyscraper. Next, I saw The First Purge, which is actually the fourth Purge, but it's called The First Purge.
I want to go see this film because I don't know if I talk about it much on the show, but I love The Purge.
I think it's been discussed on the show where you have almost like a I don't know if it's a ritual so much, but when you have your little weekends away in the woods in a cabin, you tend to watch the Purge movies.
Yeah, it's become tradition to watch one of the Purge films.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily that I think the films are good, because I don't. It's just that I love them. I don't know why I love them. I think because they're sort of, they get pretty ridiculous.
The thing is, it's such a great concept. I just feel like none of their movies have made the most of a concept that good so far.
The closest they got was the first one.
I don't even think it was.
Really?
I think the first one's probably the best one, but I don't think it makes the most of that concept.
No, but that's what I mean. Like, it's the closest, as in, out of all three that I've seen.
Yeah, I think the second one...
not necessarily that it's managed to achieve it, just that it... I don't know.
I think the second one, because like the first one, it's basically... That concept is just used to set up what is essentially a home invasion movie.
Yeah.
The second one I find more interesting because they actually go into the streets, and I like that element of, we don't really want to be participating in this, but we're on the streets while this is going on.
Yeah, that's fair.
I would love for there to be some sort of like virtual reality Purge experience.
It just wouldn't work because everyone would be baddies in it.
No. So it's like almost like a virtual reality movie that you watch where you're just exploring the streets and there's just fucked up shit going on around. It doesn't actually necessarily involve you directly.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah,
I could see that.
Because I love the scenes where like you've got like so both the second and third movie feature scenes on the streets, and there's scenes that don't really play into the story itself, but just a kind of like mood setting.
Yeah, they're just driving past like a group of people dressed as pigs killing someone in an alley.
Yeah. Or there'll be like a tree with people hanging off of it and then people dancing underneath. Just creepy shit like that. Or like there'll be someone on a bench just singing this like creepy lullaby while we're like holding a head.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that is the stuff that I find quite chilling when I watch these movies.
100%.
The first Purge, right? So this takes you back to how it all started. And looking at kind of what's happening in America today, the statements that this movie are trying to make are really obvious.
Yeah, I mean, I was assuming it was going to have a bit of a...
It's got like a huge racial and like class element to it.
Yeah.
Where, you know, essentially... And it's stuff that's been touched on in the previous movies anyway, but essentially the point of the Purge is to weed out things like the homeless, the sick, etc. So they're less
it's
of
the way the government clear up stuff, but they just pretend it's other people doing it, sort of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know they make kind of some like there's a really awkward bit where it's clearly a line that's been like put in later.
Does someone go, "This all started with President Donald Trump"?
No, but someone runs away and yells something like, "Get off me, you pussy grabbing motherfucker."
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And it's just stuff like that. That's just a bit like that we
already too heavy-handed.
Yeah, we already knew what you were getting at. Like,
yeah, you didn't need to smash it in our faces.
Exactly. Yeah.
I have questions, Liam.
Okay.
Do people wear masks in this one?
They do, and it's sort of commented on how that's like there's sort of because there's the first one basically takes place in Staten Island. Only.
Oh, is it only in one area?
Yeah, so they're kind of doing it as like a trial.
Yeah, got you.
And to get people involved, there's like they enlist people and say, "Oh, if you participate, you'll be financially rewarded."
Got you.
So they're already trying to like manipulate what should be a social experiment almost. The social experiment should be, if we remove all laws for 12 hours, what will happen? And what happens in the movie is people basically just have purge parties where they don't actually commit crime, they just like rave in the streets and stuff, right?
Yeah, they break like the minor laws.
Exactly.
Like there's people just jaywalking all over the place.
Yeah.
There's one guy with an open container of alcohol on the street and he's like, haha, I'm purging.
Yeah, but no one's actually murdering. But they've kind of... Yeah, so then they get these people to participate. They do comment on the fact that people are starting to use masks and how it's starting to have this weird like Halloween tradition almost.
Yeah.
But it's not like a major part of it or anything. It's just not a great film. It's the worst Purge film so far. It's still average, but out of all four, it's the worst one.
It doesn't super surprise me.
No, I don't think we needed to see how it all started.
No, because I mean the interesting thing about the Purge is where it is in the films. Like, it's been going on for years, so the Purge has got this kind of over-the-top, like, ridiculous murder thing going on.
Yeah, and, even in the first one, there's lines dropped in that kind of let you know that this was going on for a while, like, oh, you'll be taught in school the importance of this night, etc., etc. Like, it makes it feel like it's something that is just accepted. And, I don't know, it's just way too obvious with what it was trying to say. It wasn't trying to do anything particularly smart or particularly clever, I don't think. So it's 2.5 out of 5. It was fine, but nothing great.
Fair enough.
Then lastly, I'd like to talk about a video game that I've played and completed and now would like to review.
What video game is that, Liam?
It's Bloodborne.
Do you want to explain to the listeners why you have completed Bloodborne?
No, you explain.
So, a while ago, listeners, me, Liam and Dan, who has guested on the show, were having a discussion about Bloodborne, because we'd all played it, but Liam had only played...
I'd killed the first boss.
Liam got up to the first boss, which isn't, like, distance-wise too far into the game.
No.
Time-wise, it can be quite far into the game, depending on how good you are at the game.
Yeah.
So, Liam had come back with a very negative review of Bloodborne.
Yeah.
Said it's not... I don't know, what was your sort of argument? It's not a skill-based thing, it was just like...
The difficulty is arbitrary. Instead of making a difficult game, they've just made a game that's annoying to play. That was my major issue with it.
Yeah, to which me and Dan responded, no, it is difficult, you just don't like it.
Yeah.
And then sort of the argument sort of came to a halt, because mine and Dan's point to Liam was, well, you've only got to the first boss, which isn't very far into the game. Like, you've not seen a whole lot yet.
Yeah.
I don't think you can make that judgment on the whole game based on how much you've played. Yeah. So that Liam can make his point, he decided to go and complete Bloodborne.
Yeah.
So now Liam is going to make his point.
It's not difficulty based, it's just arbitrary. It's just... Okay, so listeners, let me explain what I mean by this. With most games, you can save wherever you want, and you can just, like, if you're doing a difficult bit, you can either save wherever you want, or there'll be somewhat frequent checkpoints. With Bloodborne, there are checkpoints, but they're not particularly frequent. If you die, you pretty much lose all your progress.
Yeah.
My point is, it's not difficult, the game. There's a couple of caveats to that. 95% of the game is not difficult. It's just annoying. It's not that you have to necessarily be good. You just have to learn where the enemies are, because sometimes the enemies will just jump out of a wall or something. Not difficult. Most of the enemies are very easy to kill, but when it surprises you with a cheap thing like that, and then the enemies do kill you quite quickly, so then you've got to replay it all the way to get back to that point. And this time, it's going to come, so you can stop it. That's not a difficulty thing. It's just annoying.
I guess the counter argument to that point would be if you were good at the game, right?
Right.
So let's say from mine and Dan's perspective, I won't speak too much for Dan because that's not fair.
Yeah.
So from my perspective, like, the game is difficult because, like you said, the enemies kill you quite quickly.
Yeah.
So if you're good at the game, i.e. you've actually learned, not just learned where the enemies are, but like you've learned how to play the game, like when the right time to shoot and stab is and all that stuff, then when an enemy surprised you, you wouldn't just die, respawn and have to learn where it was so you could beat it. You'd be good at the game and be like, oh, okay, well, this thing has surprised me, but I've learnt enough about this game that I can react to that. I can dodge and roll. I can shoot. Like, that'd be my. And I'm not necessarily. I didn't complete Bloodborne, and I also don't particularly care.
Yeah, like 9 times.
I just wanted you to finish it, so your point was.
Yeah,
less.
9 times out of 10, that is what will happen. Like, an enemy will come. It might surprise you. It might get one hit in, but you can generally get the upper hand. There will be times when you just take a wrong turn or whatever, and you're just suddenly surrounded and you're dead.
Yeah, and there's stuff like if you stumble into a boss, there's a couple of bosses that aren't required.
Yeah, there's a lot that
aren't required. And you can activate them.
Yeah.
And if you accidentally do that,
if you're not prepared,
then that will kill you usually.
The other thing that's annoying, right, is the way the game is designed, because it also, this is another thing that they say is to make it more difficult. I just find it annoying. They don't do a lot of explaining. So, there's mechanics to it. Most of them won't be explained. You just have to figure it out. And that's fine if it's a game that isn't quite so punishing if you do something wrong. I think personally, I don't mind having to learn mechanics that aren't like spoon-fed to me, but to have to learn them while also have to be like playing extremely cautiously makes it hard to be trying new things. So
yeah.
I don't know. For me, what they're trying to do and the way they're trying to do it just didn't quite work. And stuff like the bosses. So the bosses are where the game's challenge ramps up, as most bosses should be.
Mm-hmm.
If you die at a boss, you still have to go all the way back to a checkpoint, and then you either have to figure out a shortcut back to the boss, and sometimes that's not exactly obvious. It'll be like, oh, there's a gap in the fence and you can drop off there onto a roof and etc, etc. Or you have to fight your way through all of the enemies that you've already fought to get to the boss, and some of these sections can take like 20 minutes to half an hour. Now the problem with this is the way that the game wants you to beat bosses is it wants you to fight them enough times that you learn what the boss is going to do, which is fine, but it's real annoying when every time you die you then have to spend up to like maybe half an hour getting back to that point to then try and learn, oh okay, so if I get the boss down to 50% health, he's going to change and now there's a whole new move set that's going to kill me and I have to learn. I just don't understand why they've made it so frustrating. Like, because you could still have difficult bosses but have a checkpoint right outside the boss room and it still works with what they want. You can still go and fight the boss as many times as you want and learn its move pattern, but you now don't have this, what is essentially a pointless half-hour excursion to get there.
Okay, so my final counter argument, and it's not me arguing this is just a sort of observation of the people that do love Bloodborne and Dark Souls and those sort of games. Mm-hmm. My theory is this game is built for a certain kind of player. Masochist. I don't think it's the kind of player you are.
No.
No, genuinely. There is an element of masochism to Bloodborne and Dark Souls where these players like to be punished for failing.
Yeah.
Because the sense of achievement they get when they complete something is more. Because for you, what is like an annoying half hour that you've got to retread because you just want to get the boss done to get through it. Yeah. For them, it's like, that's my penance for failing. Yeah. And I want to be the best and I want the game to be harsh to me.
Yeah. Which is
I don't think it's necessarily like a problem. I just think that it's probably not a game that was designed for someone like you, and not particularly for someone like me. I think that's why I ended up stopping, was because I was like, it's too much of a time sink.
Yeah.
To do stuff.
And so this is the other thing, right? Is most of the bosses that there was. I'll be honest. When you killed a boss first time, it did feel good because you were like, I've got one over the game almost.
Yeah.
Because you're like, this game wants me to have to do it loads of times. I've just done it once because I'm so fucking good. So that did give you a good feeling. Most of the bosses honestly aren't that difficult, especially once you do learn the movesets and everything.
Yeah.
However, because I'm broken, I couldn't just complete the story of the game. I had to practically 100% the game. I had to get all the
Which is hilarious, because we had a conversation with you where we said, when are you going to say you've completed it? And you said, I'm just going to defeat... I know there's these optional final bosses. I'm not going to do them. I'm going to be done once I complete the main story bosses and get that first ending.
Yeah.
And then sort of maybe a day before you did that bit, you were just like, yeah, so I'm doing all the other bosses as well.
Yeah, I just, the broken part of me just kicked in and was like, look, do it.
Yeah.
And there were 3 bosses out of probably about 30. There were 3 that were hard. I want to throw my controller hard.
Is it the bonus bosses?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There were 3 that were like that, where I was like, and the problem is, the way I am, when a game gets that difficult and you finally beat the boss, doesn't even feel good. You don't even feel relief. You're just like, thank fuck that's over. What's the next bullshit challenge? One of the bonus dungeons cuts your health in half.
Yeah.
Doesn't really... The enemies hit slightly less, but 15% less than they normally would hit.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And again, those dungeons, getting to the boss is fine. And these extra dungeons, actually, to their credit, do have checkpoints close to the boss rooms.
Are these are they called Chalice dungeons?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
But honestly...
They fascinate me on a different level, which is the fact that, I heard, it probably isn't too recent now, but maybe a few months ago, or maybe late last year, I saw a post going around where people were holy shit, we've just discovered a whole new enemy in this game.
So
And
there's two different types of challenge dungeons. There's one where the dungeon is basically built and it's always the same bosses, and then there's another one where it's like procedurally generated.
Were you doing the pre-built ones?
Yeah, the procedurally generated ones you didn't need to do for any trophies, thank fuck.
Got you, yeah, because that's the one where they discovered, which I think is really fascinating, that the game had been out so long.
Yeah.
And because of the way it was built, people still hadn't seen everything. I think that's quite a cool thing, just in terms of like a developer being kind of cool to their gamers. Yeah.
That's, it was a good game. I think that was cool, but it was just too annoying to be good, in all honesty. I'm pleased I've done it. I can't say it was a particularly enjoyable experience.
Yep, that's fair. To be fair, that's probably what most people who play Dark Souls and Bloodborne say.
Yeah,
I don't know if anyone really enjoys the games.
What I would love is if we ever use our Twitch channel, I would love to see you twitching yourself playing this, because I think it'd be hilarious.
I don't think it would be.
I think it would. Especially if you could get to some of those fucking annoying bosses.
But I don't think I'd get... Like, I'd just get normal angry and then stop.
I honestly, there was like a couple of times where... Like, I don't really get angry, ever.
Yeah.
Especially at stuff like video games. Like, a pet peeve of mine is like the ragey gamers.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you have a friend that you sometimes play with who just gets way too ragey, and I can't deal with that. It's just... I don't play these games to get angry. I play them to chill out.
Yeah.
And yeah, so for this game to have, like, to get me to that stage where I'm, like, wanting to punch things, I don't know if I can emphasise enough just how annoying the game has to be to get me to that stage.
That's fair.
I think the only other time I've had a game in recent memory that's been like that was trying to get some of the trophies for Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I think you had a couple of stories from that sounded similar.
Yeah, which is another game that I think you were just like, this isn't for me.
It was one of those games where I played it and I was like, yeah, I've got all the nostalgia of playing Crash Bandicoot, and then like it starts to get difficult, and I was like, I'm good. I had the nostalgia.
Yeah.
When I want to feel that nostalgia again, I'll go play some, but I'm good.
Yeah. So
that's why I'm waiting for Spyro, because Spyro isn't going to be.
It was never a hard game, was it? Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that, because that would just be nostalgia and sort of chilling out, I hope.
I'm kind of looking forward to... there's a couple of games that they're remaking I'm looking forward to. Resident Evil 2, because that was another one that I've got a lot of nostalgia for, and I don't remember it ever... I definitely completed it when I played it, so it couldn't have been that hard. And Final Fantasy 7.
Yeah.
Which is another game that, like, it's long, but it's not necessarily hard.
Yeah.
As far as Bloodborne goes, yeah, I basically spent probably about, 30 to 50 hours completing this game just so I could say to you and Dan, no, my first points do still stand.
Yep, that's fine.
Fucking annoying. 2 out of 5.
Cool.
Housekeeping.
No.
Ugh.
Ask me what I've done.
Oh, have you done stuff?
Ask me.
What have you done?
I'm still watching Legend of Korra, and I'm on season 2, and I'm still watching Everything Sucks, because it's not been that long since we recorded the episode. So, no.
Housekeeping.
Housekeeping. I just got delivered an ice cream, Liam.
Oh, nice.
Keep my house.
We had a tweet from MMPR at MMPR. Check out at Nerd on Nerd's new episode featuring #Little Dragons Cafe.
What? Oh, hey, MMPR. You've done it. You've made a mistake. You've got the wrong Nerd on Nerd.
You've gone goofed. You meant Nerd On, I think.
Yeah.
Not Nerd on Nerd.
No, we're Nerd on Nerd. We did not feature Little Dragons Cafe.
We did not. If you're trying to check out an episode from us featuring Little Dragons Cafe, you're going to be sorely disappointed until you then listen to an episode of ours where you might be delighted.
Which episode is that?
I don't know.
Fair enough. Cool, that's good. Good listener feedback there from people that don't know who we are.
Yeah. Amanda tweeted us though. She knows who we are. She said,
loved the episode with Little Dragon Cafe.
She said, finally got to listen to the Nerd on Nerd Princess Mononoke culture swap. Good stuff.
Way!
Though I got totally thrown for a min when you used Ellie's old name.
Yeah, that's an old episode.
Happens with the old episodes. If you go to our YouTube, there's loads of them.
Yeah, it's great. That's as I'm sure, if we've got any trans listeners, as I'm sure you'll all know, it's like our favourite thing is having our old name just spread constantly on the internet, but it's cool, because when you've got a cisgender friend like Liam, they don't give a shit.
Correct. That's it for housekeeping, unless you've been doing anything like from a previous culture swap or anything.
Oh, no, I guess I kind of am, I guess.
Okay.
because it is something that we do on episodes, and like I sort of do it again each episode. So it's kind of like
It's not a culture swap, though, is it?
no, but it kind of like I don't know. It's kind of like your culture, my culture. You've got an obsessive need to buy DVDs. I've got a need to help my friend stop doing that.
Yeah.
So Liam, it's time for Liam's DVD tally.
I'm annoyed.
Go on.
I had a really good film watching weekend.
Yeah, but you had that box set arrived, didn't you?
Yeah.
So it's ruined it, hasn't it?
8 films this weekend.
That's very impressive. That would have lowered you below the number.
Mm-hmm.
How many DVDs did you receive?
At least 5.
Oh, so it's still so the number's lower?
No.
Sorry.
What was the number?
Wait, so no, let me just before we get to the number.
Yeah.
You watched 8 films.
Yeah.
You received 5.
Yeah.
So how is the number higher than it was?
Because like Barefoot Again, I received and then I watched, so it's not like it really knocked a number out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but just mathematically, if you watched 8,
Yeah.
and you got 5.
Okay, I got Barefoot Again as well. Barefoot Again 1 and 2, so I got 7.
Yeah, so you should. Okay, so you were on 1,096.
Oh, yeah.
So what are you on? So just mathematically, Liam, you should be on 1,095.
Yeah.
What are you on?
1,100.
Sorry, something's not adding up here, Liam. What are you lying about?
I'm not lying about
If
anything.
you watched 8 films
Yeah.
and received 7, the number should have gone down 1.
One of the
And
films,
it hasn't. It's gone up 4.
One of the films that I watched was like a rewatch.
Right. Okay.
So it wasn't on
it's
the
becoming
list of to watch.
right. It's suddenly getting a little bit less impressive.
Yeah. Like I watched a lot, but it just didn't really help the situation whatsoever.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
So yeah, well, I mean, you know, I was quite pleased because before this morning it was looking at 1,095, and I was like, oh, that's gonna be good. And then I had a bloody Step Up box set arrive with all 5 Step Up films. Each film is like an hour and 40 minutes long, which I was not expecting. One of the movies is an hour and 52 minutes.
Oh my god. Which one?
Step Up 5, all in.
Why?
Apparently, Step Up 5 brings together all of the all-stars from the previous Step Up movies. Although not Channing Tatum, which is the reason why I'm watching. So, listeners, the reason why I've got this box set is because in the near future, I'm guesting the Zack Attack guys have now that they've finished all of Zac Efron's movies, they're doing Magic Mike's, which is the movie about Channing Tatum. Obviously, he's in the first Step Up. They want me to come in and talk about Step Up 2 because it looks like he's in it, but very briefly. So they think it's funny to get me on their show when it's the star that they're talking about is hardly in the movie. Yeah,
that is quite funny.
But obviously, the brokenness inside me means I now have to watch Step Up 1 and 2 at least. And fuck it, the box set was like 15 quid. So
yeah, so you're at 1,100, Liam, which is bad.
Not good, is it?
No, it's pretty bad.
No, and I'm not going to be watching much next weekend either, so I've got quite a busy weekend planned. So going kayaking.
Oh, that sounds fun.
With my mum.
Oh.
She wanted to do something different, so...
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, that is quite different.
Yeah, we're going kayaking.
Fair enough.
Not going to really present me much of an opportunity to watch movies.
You could take out a portable DVD player with you.
I don't think she'd appreciate that.
Probably not.
So, yeah. Culture swap.
Swap my culture.
This one was all because I think Barefoot Again is the best anime I've ever seen.
Yeah, so listeners, this whole section is going to be pretty depressing.
There's going to be spoilers.
We're going to spoil Barefoot Again, which is a historical sort of anime set around.
We're also going to spoil
bombing.
the effects of a nuclear bomb.
Yeah. If you don't know how... I can't even joke about it. I wanted to make a joke there, but it makes me sad.
It's just not really appropriate, is it?
No. Listeners, the reason we did this is because, as those of you who listen regularly will know, Liam refused to watch any more anime till we did Barefoot Again, because in his opinion it is the best anime.
So here's the whole
that was years ago.
This.
So I eventually went, hey, we've left it to. It's my birthday. We're doing a birthday special. I'm going to do Princess Mononoke, which, as those of you who listen to that episode will know, caused a bit of a row with Liam.
Yeah, because I made
like
a promise
an unusual
to the
row
listeners.
between us, where Liam was actually offended at me.
I made a promise to the listeners that. So the whole point of doing anime, right, it ties in like when we first started the show, Culture Swap. Like I was bringing like these culty movies that you'd never heard of, pretty much things like Spider Baby, things like the Mumblecore movies, etc.
Yeah,
and you were bringing stuff like anime that I'd never heard of,
and comic books,
right? Now, as time's gone on, I've got more and more versed in comic books, but with anime, I've always felt like there was a disconnect between what you were kind of bringing to me and what I enjoyed. So I drew a line in the sand, and I went, look. Let me show you the anime that I think is the best anime I've ever seen, so you can see like what you're working against. Like, I want you to try and find something that I'm going to find more impressive than Barefoot Gen.
Right. I mean, so the issue with that, Liam, right, is you can't compete with Barefoot Gen into the like.
No, it's the best anime. It's the best anime. You
no.
With it.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you can't compete. Like to say to someone, imagine saying to someone, hey, can you just go and find me anime that I like? And then them going, oh yeah, what sort of stuff are you into? And you turn around and go, Barefoot Gen. You know, the one with the scene where everyone melts.
Yeah, you'd go, okay,
They go Grave of the Fireflies, and that's it.
No, it's not really an anime. You could do another animated movie though.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah.
I know what one you mean though.
Yeah, When the Wind Blows.
So that's the issue with this film, is it hasn't like opened up options to me. It's not like I've suddenly gone, oh, I understand now.
No,
because
no. The other thing, right? The other reason for doing it, in all seriousness, is, I think, not necessarily from you, but maybe from the audience, there might have been a perception that I was just dismissive of all anime, and I wanted to kind of say, look, There's anime that I do like.
You wanted to clarify that it's not all anime; it's just all anime except the most horrendous ones. Like horrendous in terms of like upsetting.
Yeah, I think Princess Mononoke I didn't necessarily mind.
You didn't hate it. You just
I was
thought it was
indifferent to
average.
it.
Yeah,
and I've seen Grave of the Fireflies before. I don't really remember it that well. I need to rewatch it.
And there was that one you used to watch when you were a kid about schoolgirls.
Oh yeah, Rumbling Hearts,
which you occasionally bring up. Yeah,
I think we should do that for another episode, to be honest.
Well, we will at some point.
And I've seen Spirited Away as well.
Yeah, which is a good one.
Yeah, I don't really remember it, but at the time I think I thought it was okay. And I've seen Akira, which I did not like.
That's weird because Akira's good, but
yeah, a lot of people love it, right? And so I think this is the thing. I can't say I'm a fan of anime. I think it's hard work to find an anime that I would enjoy. Yeah. But I'm not. I want to make it clear, it's not that I hate all anime.
It just sounds like it is.
Well, apart from Barefoot Gen.
Yeah,
which is an anime.
So that's effectively why we got to this point, listeners. Was just in case I wanted to do an anime for my next birthday special, which is next episode.
Yeah.
We had to get Barefoot Gen out of the way so that Liam wouldn't just get very upset with me when I was like, well...
Yeah, because now, right, this is the promise I made to the listeners. No more anime until we've done Barefoot Gen.
Because, listeners, that's, as I've said before on the show, that's how those sort of promises work. You get to just promise that you won't do something that you don't want to do until you watch something you like. Liam's sort of like a toddler in that regard.
Yep.
Mummy, I promise I won't eat any more vegetables till you give me my ice cream.
I like vegetables.
Yeah, well, you're broken, aren't you?
Not a big fan of ice cream, though.
The devil's food. Anyway, we should probably get into this, actually.
Yeah, we should stop putting off talking about this.
Yeah, we're sort of nervous, because...
First thing I would like to say, I'm very sorry if I butcher any of the pronunciations. I'm not being myopic... imperialistic douchebag.
Myopic, yeah.
I'm not good at... I can't even pronounce certain, British American...
You can barely speak.
Yeah, I'm sort of again, much like a toddler, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's fine, Liam. Getting the names wrong in a Japanese film is fine.
Yeah. Alright, are we going to do this?
Yeah.
Okay. A brief plot synopsis. We see the film starts and we kind of see the effect of a war on a family who are just struggling to get by day on rations.
Yeah.
It's already, I think the opening, sort of 20-25 minutes, is effective in just showing, how shit it must be to live through a war.
Yeah, no, it's horrible. You have the whole, Gen and Shinji, who are the two young boys in the family.
They're brothers.
And they're sort of still quite upbeat in the way that young kids are.
Yeah.
But then you have these scenes where, they go home and their mum finds them some food because they're starving and haven't eaten.
Yeah.
And then the older sister, Psycho or Aiko? No, Aiko.
Aiko, yeah.
She says, she's like, no, that's for mum because she's pregnant and she needs the food for the baby.
Yeah, so the family unit, you've got the father, a mother who's pregnant, an older sister, a brother, and a younger brother.
Yeah.
But yeah, come on, carry on.
So like you said already, you're seeing like
it's already sad.
Yeah, it is.
It's already sad.
At the beginning, it's sort of the sadness is hidden, not hidden, but do you know what I mean? Like there's that layer of you're just watching these two kids sort of
trying to get by and
and they're not having a good time.
No,
but the kids themselves aren't like constantly sad.
No, it just I think it does a good. It makes a good like point of showing kind of an element to war that is maybe forgotten, because you think a lot of war films, right? You see it from perspectives of like soldiers fighting, right? I'm thinking like stuff like Saving Private Ryan, stuff like Apocalypse Now, etc., etc. This is just like a very humble. It's a little family. They're trying to get by. It's a struggle.
Yeah, it's also like this film isn't just trying to portray war. It is very specifically portraying the Japanese in World War II. Like there's this the running vein of like there's because back then Japan was under an emperor.
Yeah.
And there was this sort of imperial rule going on.
Yeah.
So like there's this very like people celebrating people going off to the military to fight in this war.
Yeah.
And the dad in the family, whose name is Daikichi?
Sure. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
It's like he's the equivalent of a conscientious objector. It seems like, where he's like he doesn't, not in public, but to his kids, he's like, I think it's taking courage to be the coward who doesn't go.
Yeah.
Because he's not going because he's scared of war. He's not going because he doesn't agree with what is happening.
Yeah, exactly.
So it is very specifically. That's I'm not trying to like belittle your point of it being war. I just wanted to make clear that it is also a very specifically Japanese view.
Yeah, definitely. What I think the opening sort of 25 minutes does really well, especially for someone like me, right? I don't have siblings, but I think it absolutely nails the portrayal of a brother and a younger brother.
Yeah.
Where like the younger brother is constantly like looking to the older brother and like copying them and kind of looking to them for like approval or for guidance as to what to do next. And
and they're both always friends, and then also
they
arguing.
fight a lot. I absolutely bought into that relationship. Like
100%.
It was so well done. Especially I think like you probably shouldn't say something like this, but especially for an animated film, because I think it can sometimes be hard to emotionally invest into animated characters sometimes.
I don't particularly find that, but I know that I'm fully into animated stuff.
Yeah, true. I guess like I think animation these days is doing better. Like Pixar do an amazing job at getting you emotionally invested in their characters and stuff.
Yeah.
But especially from me and my experiences with anime, this is the first one where I've really got like massively invested in the characters.
Yeah.
The other thing that I think the opening, so I'm very deliberately talking about this opening like 25 minutes. It's all of this stuff is before the bomb drops.
Yeah.
And
is there a chance that listeners don't know what Hiroshima is or Hiroshima?
We'll get there anyway.
I mean, yeah, but I feel like that it's not like I feel like we should probably just say, just in case. I can't imagine anyone doesn't know, but Hiroshima was the first city in Japan that was hit by the nuclear bombs.
Yeah.
Just
Project
in case
Manhattan,
you didn't know that.
I think it was.
Well, that was the project that made the bomb.
Yes.
Yeah.
The first half does have this constant like ticking down type of theme going to it. Like the way the music is, there's a few shots of clocks and stuff, like dates are being thrown on screen.
Yeah.
That it's very clearly building to what is about to happen. And I don't know, I think the opening like act of this movie just sets everything up so superbly.
It does,
It just makes what happens next. Even like just on paper, what happens is horrendous. But to get you like as emotionally involved in these characters as it does, and then do this to them, is just a stroke of genius, I find.
Yeah, I mean, so the thing with what happens in the bomb, right, is that was the first point in the movie where I just cried, and not even like
It's not like a single tear. It's like...
No, I was just crying.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even what's happening to his family. Like, it wasn't even characters I was invested in. It was just the absolute horror of the way the nuke exploding is portrayed.
Yeah.
Just was so emotionally horrible.
Yeah. And
I couldn't imagine how horrifying that situation was.
I think the other thing is it's portrayed so well through animation in this movie.
Yes, yeah. Because if the stuff they showed, if they showed that in a live action film,
it would just be...
I think you'd think it was gratuitous.
Yeah.
Which it isn't, because it is what happens.
Yeah.
But I think it would detract from it because you'd get people being like, oh, it's so... such a gory film.
Yeah, like
why
it
have they done this?
almost... Like, the way it's shown here almost looks like it's ripped from a horror movie.
Yeah, it's there are so basically, listeners, you see them drop the bomb.
Yeah.
And Gen is out with his at school.
He's on his way to school.
So he's not with his family.
Yeah.
He's with one of his friends.
Yeah.
And as the bomb explodes, he falls over or goes to grab something off the floor.
He goes to tie a shoe up, I think.
That's it, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
he sort of ducks behind like a wall.
Yeah. So you see the bomb explode and the entire screen turns white.
Yeah.
And you watch as these people are basically just burnt to death in the light of a nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
And the animation is them, like, these people just effectively melting away, and it's
in like slow motion.
Yeah, like just eyes popping out of it. It's horrible to watch.
It is. It's incredibly nasty, but it makes its point.
Yeah, and it doesn't feel like you're watching it and being like I said earlier, like it doesn't feel like gratuitous gore.
No,
it's not a gore fest. You're literally just sitting there and you're like, Jesus, this is what happens when a nuke is dropped, and it's very upsetting.
Yeah,
and then Gen survives that initial blast because he's behind the wall, so he's in the shade, which is a thing.
His friend, like, half of them is just burnt.
Half her face melts off and she dies.
Yeah.
Then you watch as Gen...
Do you know one of the bits that really hit me as well, right?
Yeah.
So you see this, like, montage of people essentially melting, and there's one where it's this mother with, I think... she's
with the baby.
The baby's on her back.
Yeah.
And the baby sort of, like, is falling off of her, and as she's melting, she's still going to grab
tries to protect it. Yeah,
it's stuff like that is just so harrowing to watch.
Honestly, talking about it is making me really sad again.
Yeah, this is
because I'm remembering it all and just being like, oh god.
And it also it doesn't just show you like the initial blast. It shows you things like people getting cut to shreds by exploding glass.
Yeah, because so effectively you get the initial blast, which creates this incredible heat that melts and burns and is horrible. Then you get the force of the explosion coming through, which throws Gen away.
Yeah.
After that, he sort of gets up and just sees the devastation that is Hiroshima.
Yeah.
Sees his friend who's dead.
Which again, right? It's something that I think they almost do a bit not subtle, but it's not hugely emphasised in the film. But there is a line of dialogue where can you even just comprehend what it must be like from the perspective of someone to just 1 second there's a city in front of you and the next second it's just gone.
Yeah, isn't it like he runs to his friend because her hand's sticking out of the rubble.
Yeah.
And then he realises she's dead and then turns around and sees what's left of the city and it's just like, what's happened?
Yeah, it's just like, where is everything? And
then he's like, all these fires start springing up and he realises that one of the fires is in the direction of his house.
Yeah.
So he runs to his house. On the way, he sees these people walking past who've been severely burnt. Like,
they basically look like zombies.
And he says, "Are what's happening? Are you all ghosts?"
Yeah.
And you see people walking past with just shards of glass.
Yeah,
peppering their back.
They're melted and still like walking.
Yeah. And they start just collapsing around him. Yeah. And then
it's so. I don't even know how to emphasize what it's like watching this movie.
Yeah, because it's honestly, you're just like, I think for most of after this point, I was just like in tears.
Yeah.
Like there was a point where I was just lying there, and I wasn't even like, it wasn't even like crying where like you're sitting there, you know, doing the whole like. I was literally just lying there with tears constantly streaming out of my eyes.
Yeah.
And my body wasn't even reacting to it. I was just lying there and crying.
Yeah.
It was. It's just a constant.
It's the fact that it happened.
Yeah, that's what makes it worse. Is you're sitting there and you're like, I know this is actually a thing. This is like.
Yeah. And no. So the film is based on a manga, and the writer of the manga, Keiji Nakazawa. Apologies if I butcher that name. It's loosely based on his own story. Like, he was one of the survivors of Hiroshima.
Yeah.
So it's not only is it like, oh, this actually happened. It's not even like, oh, this happened, but it's just someone thinking, oh, you know, like coming up with it. It's from the eyes of someone that was there, essentially.
Yeah.
Fucked up.
Jesus, it's horrible.
But yeah, so he gets to his family home.
Yep, and then you get like maybe the most maybe the most horrifying scene after. I don't even know. They're all just so sad.
Honestly, like after the first like 25-minute mark, it's an endurance test.
It's just blow after blow, emotional blow after emotional blow.
Yeah.
His family are. His mum is outside the house.
Yeah.
She was blown off. You see when the bomb explodes, you see she's on a balcony.
She's on like the porch, I think.
Yeah, and so she gets knocked off. His dad, his brother, and his sister are trapped in the burning house.
Yeah.
Literally trapped because one of the supports of the house falls on them.
Yeah.
And you know, in a normal movie, they would escape and everything would be happy. But in this one, because it's, you know, based on real life and all these horrifying things, his family, his dad has to tell him to just leave them because they can't get the beam off.
Yeah, they try to, which is, I think, almost even worse.
It is him and his pregnant mum trying to. His mum screaming that she's too weak and she wishes she wasn't.
Yeah.
And then his dad is like, just go. You have to protect your mum and the baby. They need you now.
Yeah.
And then you as the viewer get to watch as Shinji, his little brother, screams, Mum, where are you? I'm burning, Mum, come back. And it's just horrifying. Yeah.
It really is. Like, there's no kind of... It's a hard one to talk about. We can't make jokes about this movie.
No, it's not. There's nothing funny.
No, we can't be like, oh, we had such a good time watching this. It's not that sort of movie.
No, it isn't.
It's the sort of movie that is amazing. I genuinely think this should be shown in schools.
I mean, well, I don't know.
Not like to a ridiculously young age, but like, I definitely like secondary school.
I mean, yeah, if we want people not to be nuking each other.
Yeah, which we
do,
like
this
right?
is a pretty good way of doing it. Yeah, 100%.
That's something that we definitely do want, because...
Yeah.
So, okay, we get through the initial blast, we get through him losing his parents. We're now
just his dad.
His dad and most of his family. His mum's still alive. We're probably at this point about halfway through the movie.
Yep.
And now we have to deal with essentially the fallout of a nuclear bomb.
Oh, I can't tell if that was a really bad pun or not, Liam.
I don't think it was meant to be.
Okay, good.
It's just stuff that... The other thing that I think is quite harrowing is there's a very like matter-of-fact... You watched the dubbed version, right?
Yeah.
So I watched the subbed version, and the way it seemed to me, you'll be able to say better because the way it was like delivered, but in the subs at least, it seems like there's a very matter-of-fact voiceover that's kind of... First they're saying like what the dates are and stuff leading up, but then they're also explaining things like, we didn't know it at the time, but the rain was like full of radiation. And
it's very matter-of-fact.
Yeah, and it's just like... I think
it's almost done in the dub. It's almost done like how you would watch a documentary and have like a voiceover occasionally being like, you know, oh, this is on September the 16th. This happened, and it is very much like that. Yeah, because it starts raining and it's all black rain because it's the debris that was thrown into the atmosphere, and also radioactive waste falling on everyone. They
collect the rain. They try and help people that are essentially dying.
Yeah, there are more burnt people who are desperate for water.
Yeah, they give them the water they've collected from the rain, and those people just start dying.
And they think it's because of the water, and then the voiceover tells you that there were people who stayed alive because their need for water was so desperate that they were able to like keep on fighting.
Yeah.
But the moment they had their thirst quenched, they gave up.
Yeah.
And it's just horrifying.
Yeah. It also is partly because it's radiated water as well.
Oh, did they say that in the sub?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because in the dub, it was very much like, oh, they just had their thirst quenched, and that was the...
Yeah, no. It was very much like, don't be drinking the radiated water.
I mean, yeah, that did seem like, when they were like, oh, it's because they had their thirst quenched, I was like, well, it also doesn't seem very safe.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I mean, after this point, the movie just sort of... follow Gen.
The mum gives birth.
The mum gives birth to a baby because she's been starving since before the war. She doesn't have enough milk.
Yeah.
So Gen has to go and sort of try and
there's also... Okay, I don't know how I feel about this bit. Like, it's I was always going to say it's a weird bit. It's not weird, but there's another character that gets introduced. It is Ryuta, I think.
I mean, that's not for a while.
It's before he goes to get milk, isn't it?
No.
I'm jumping ahead. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead.
Because there's a bit where his mum can't produce breast milk because she's so hungry.
Yeah.
And at that point, they haven't met Ryuta yet.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Where Gen goes off to try and find just sort of general help.
Yeah.
The mum goes to try and specifically find someone that can breastfeed her daughter for her.
Oh, yeah, and then you've got that absolutely awful scene where there's a baby just like breastfeeding off of a dead woman, because I think again, the voiceover, I think it's the mum this time saying, oh, the baby doesn't realise that the woman's dead. Yeah. So, yeah.
And
it is just like blow after blow.
Then she finds a woman who says, you should just kill your baby, because who would want to live in this?
Yeah.
Then tries to kill the baby, and then breaks down in tears and breastfeeds her because her daughter died or her child died.
I think her baby died. You see that the baby's like behind a tree or something. Yeah.
And then, Gen finds a soldier who's suffering from radiation poisoning, so shits blood and vomits blood.
And his hair falls out.
Tries to save him by taking him to a hospital, where they're basically like saying to people, that the doctors are saying to each other, if anyone's had X, Y, and Z symptoms,
just don't even
leave
bother.
them, because there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
Then Gen's hair falls out, so he thinks he's going to die.
Yeah.
And has a scene where he just cries to his mum, screaming, I don't want to die, which is horrifying.
Yep. It's so bad.
Eventually, they set up a little tiny hut that they live in.
Yeah.
And they meet Ryuta. Gen finds a food stockpile that the top level,
it's loads of bags of rice.
Yeah, and all the top level have been burnt to ash by the bomb, but there's like bags at the bottom that are safe.
Yeah.
Or not
in the middle.
burnt. Yeah. So he takes them. They set up a little hut, and you sort of cut a little bit ahead. I don't know how long it was.
Yeah.
And then this. So yeah, do you want to talk about Ryuta? Because you were going to say you weren't. Sure about it.
So this character looks exactly like the little brother that's already died, and they comment on it saying how much like it he looks. And this character Ryuta, his family has died, and they kind of like, they kind of say, if you want to join us, you can. And I don't know what they were trying to do with that. I don't know why the choice was made to have that character look like the little brother. Yeah,
I don't know if it's so. My sort of assumption on that is that perhaps because it's an animated movie, it is the same character drawn.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think maybe the point is that Gen and his mum are so emotionally destroyed by this that I sort of read it as the kid not actually looking like his brother.
That's sort of what
they're so broken at this point.
Yeah, that is kind of what I was thinking, but it's the sort of thing that I think it's not explicitly stated at any point.
No, it's not.
Like the mum says, like, has a line where she's like, "Oh, every person has like another 5 people in the world that look exactly like them."
Yeah.
But yeah, I just know. I didn't know exactly what they were trying to do with that choice, but I agree with what you're saying. Like, it's easy to understand it being that Gen and his mum are just too broken to really see it as anything else. And the new character like Ryuta is very like happy to be accepted into his family, has been struggling kind of on their own, and like tries to fit in, like realizes that Gen likes it when he calls him Big Brother, so does it more.
Yeah. Well, he does it by accident at first, which is a very sort of sweet moment. Yeah. And then Gen being like, "Yeah, I am a big brother." Like, I don't know. It doesn't get happy at this point, but there's a very brief moment of sort of sunshine in this film where the two new brothers are trying to protect their new little sister by going and earning money. Yeah. They then help this old man who his family, he's suffering from the radiation burns and got maggots in his wounds, and his family have sort of abandoned him. Sort of. He's in their house, but they're
quite wealthy, so they're trying to like hire people to look after him, so they don't have to.
And all the other kids that have been hired to do it have quit because the guy's room smells of death.
And the guy is quite miserable as well.
He's miserable because the way he sees it is everyone's abandoned him.
Yeah, he kind of doesn't really want to have to carry on living. Yeah.
So they clean him up. He then tries to sort of bully them a little bit, and just go to leave, and then he has an emotional breakdown where he's like, one of them Gen slaps him.
Yeah.
And he says, "You don't like. If you please just stay. I need human contact. Please just stay. Slap me as much as you want."
Yeah.
And it's basically like, I've had no human contact, so even being slapped is something for me.
Yeah.
And then they sort of become his friend and look after him.
Yeah.
They finally make all the money to get their baby sister milk.
Yeah.
They go back home, and Tomoko is dead, and you just get a horrifying scene of the mum holding the dead baby, looking at Gen,
saying too late.
Yep, and then Gen just holding the baby and begging her to come back, and it's just horrifying.
Yeah. It does end on a happy note.
Yeah, it does. You have a scene where Ryota says he's heard that the grass won't grow for 70 years.
Yeah.
So everything is dead. And then in the sort of final scenes, they're running along, and suddenly Ryota notices that there's wheat growing.
Yeah, and it calls back to an earlier scene where the dad talks about how wheat is like constantly stamped on and survives all these like elements, and it still like perseveres. And, like,
no matter how much wheat is beaten down, it always grows back.
Yeah, and he's trying to tell his kids to be like wheat, like in the face of adversity, just like endure basically. Yeah,
and Gen's hair starts to grow back at that point as well.
Oh yeah, did we talk about his? Oh yeah, we did talk about that.
We said his hair fell out, and like we thought he had radiation poisoning, which he does, but clearly not the most severe.
Yeah.
So his hair starts to grow back. He then remembers that he promised Shinji. He had made a boat for Shinji that they were going to take to the river.
Yeah.
So he rebuilds the boat in their new little hut.
Mm-hmm.
And him, the mum, and Ryota take it down to the river. They light a candle on top of it, send it out into the river, and Gen, why do I keep saying Genji? Gen sort of shouts out to his brother and dad and says, "Can you see us? We're doing it for you."
Yeah.
Well, to all his family, Tomoko and Aiko. And so there's like it's a happy bit at the end where like you're like, oh, okay, there's hope that, you know, life goes on and maybe they can power through like the wheat.
Yeah.
And the mum's not, you know, because there's a couple of times in the film where I was like, oh god, the mum's just going to like kill herself and it's going to be really horrible.
Yeah, it never gets quite like that.
No, she sort of manages to pull through.
Yeah. But like I'm aware, like we've done a thing in this episode that we don't often like to do, where we have just basically gone through the plot. But I don't know how else we would talk about this film, because
we started doing it, and I was like, I don't think there's another way.
No.
To talk about this.
There isn't. It's an important film.
It is, honestly. If you haven't seen it, listeners, like this is maybe the one film where seriously you should go and watch it. Like, don't go and watch it and be like, I'm going to have a wonderful time because Ellie and Liam said this is a film I should go and see. It's super important and also just one of the most upsetting films I've ever seen.
Yeah, like I think when I first watched it, I was not quite prepared for how hard it would hit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not only is it important because obviously it all happened, and I feel like it's something that it's almost easy to ignore, especially for us. Like
it's something that happened before our lifetimes.
Yeah,
you know, most of us, it's probably either grandparents who were young kids in it, or great grandparents that we might not even have met who were part of the war.
Yeah,
and this is this horrifying event that really, you know, only happened like 70 years ago, 60 years ago.
70, I think. So it was 1945 was it when this happened?
Yeah, is that right? Yeah.
Yes, that'd be 73 years ago.
Yeah, so that's not like a crazy long time.
No, it's not. And you know, I don't understand, right? After seeing this film, this is going to sound like a weird thing that I'm going to say, right? I don't understand after seeing this how we're in a world where the potential of this happening again exists.
Honestly, I don't like. It's such a difficult thing to talk about, right? Because I'm so anti it.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the worst atrocities humanity's ever done.
Yeah, definitely.
The worst thing about it is this is not even there were 2 nukes. This is the first nuke that fell on Japan.
Yeah.
And after this happened, a second nuke was launched on another city.
Yeah.
And
it's another interesting scene it brings up, right? Because I think the mum, like the family that have survived, hear about the second nuke, and they hear that the emperor has then what's the word?
Surrendered.
Yeah.
Yeah, the emperor. It was the first time in Japanese history that he'd ever done like a radio broadcast. I think that's what they were saying.
And I think, like, imagine, like, from the mum's perspective, I totally get it. She's like, we've just gone through all of this.
Yeah, well, another
what?
family are walking past, and the dad's like, "Oh, how can we have surrendered? It's so..." He's like complaining about the surrender.
Yeah.
And then the mum just screams at him, like, "Why now?
Yeah.
Why did it take this for us to do it?"
Exactly.
Because at the beginning of the film, a lot of people are talking about how Japan has already lost the war.
Yeah.
But the actual event is so... I don't know. It's so difficult because, like, I after this, I was like, I want to know... I don't know if this was just a morbid interest, but I wanted to know what the people who dropped specifically the plane that dropped the bombs.
Yeah.
I wanted to know, like, what those people said.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I think part of me was like, I hope that...
Like, how do you live with yourself? But equally...
But I don't want to say that because I sort of... It's not like I get it. I don't know. I don't want to just come... I don't want to be one of those people that's just very snap judgmentally...
No,
like,
there's two...
I
think there's two elements to it, right? So the first is how do you live with yourself after essentially doing that? But equally, there is a whole chain of command that gets you to that. So it's like, from the perspective of, I'm the one flying the plane, dropping the bomb. I'm following orders, right?
Yeah.
How do you live with yourself being the person that, like, there's a lot of people in this chain that I'm like, how do you live with yourself? Like, the person that essentially created this, the person that went, let's weaponize this, the person that gave the order to drop this. Like,
yeah,
there's a lot of just like, how was there at no stage in that someone that went, this is not a good idea?
So the main thing I was seeing, right, in these interviews that some of them gave afterwards, was, and this is like, you know, there were some that were like interviews from soonish after, and there were some that were talking about it now, and the ones that were talking about it now, a lot of them were like, I have no remorse. It was a thing we did. It had to happen. Yeah, we did it.
Because essentially, a lot of people consider it as this is what won the war as well.
Well, it definitely pulled Japan out of the war.
Yeah,
but like, I don't know. Basically, if this hadn't happened, America was planning a mainland invasion of Japan.
Yeah.
And a lot of the pilots and the bombers who flew this mission were saying, if we hadn't done this, the death toll in Japan would have been so much higher.
Yeah.
And that's why this was okay.
I think...
But I can't, my head can't fit around that. Which, like, again, and they might be right. But to me, this is such a horrifying thing to do.
Yeah.
That I don't know. I can't believe that those were the only two options.
No,
that would have ended it with Japan. And I don't know. Like, maybe they were, but
it's just
after seeing this as well and having it like reinforced what it's like.
Yeah, like this movie does not sugarcoat it whatsoever, and it shouldn't.
No, it shouldn't. No,
it really shouldn't.
It's a very real thing that happened to these people.
Did you notice that when there's a scene that shows the planes come in and the pilots inside the planes in bed again? Did you notice the animation style change? Yes,
it changes from because Gen and his family are drawn in a very sort of old school anime way. Yeah, like Gen and Shinji are almost cartoonish. Yeah, in their sort of style. Yeah, and that scene where it shows the pilot and the bomber they're drawn very like almost realistically. Yeah, I did notice that. Yeah, which I thought there's just so many like decisions that are made into the craft of this movie that I think are interesting, especially like if I was a smarter person, I could probably draw a lot of really interesting commentary out of that. Like if this was like a Jason and Lee type thing, they'd be able to fucking proper dig into that. I'm dumb, I can't do that. I can just go, there is a difference, and I think it's important. But then I almost feel like with this film, like it's just one of those films where the message is so clear. Oh yeah, that it almost doesn't need that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, yeah. Like I almost feel like I don't know if I want to hear a breakdown of like all the subtle details in this film because no, but I think that sort of like no, do you know what I mean though? Like what does like I'm not I don't know. I'm making it sound like I'm like oh, what does it matter? But no, I don't think it's like you can break it down and they're like oh, there's room for multiple interpretations. But no, that's I know. You can break it down like them showing this in that way emphasizes this or you know there's probably a lot to dig into with the like you said like the way that Gen and Shinji are animated. Yeah. But yeah, it's such a powerful movie that I've been wanting. Partly of why I've wanted to do this as well, just because I want more exposure to this film. Like it's not a Studio Ghibli film, and I feel like there is maybe not a lot, but there's a fair few people who
look at anime, especially movies, and they probably get as far as Studio Ghibli and don't massively look beyond that.
Yeah.
And I think, this. I don't know why this movie isn't talked about more.
Yeah, that's fair. It's yeah.
But I hadn't heard of it until I went to
film.
uni and I was doing an animation course, and they were doing like different animation styles from around the world, and this movie came up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if it hadn't have been for that, I would probably have never heard of this film.
Yeah, that's fair.
Which is just crazy to me because it so should. I like I said, it should be shown in schools. I genuinely think that.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
Yeah. So yeah, this is the sort of anime that I like, the type that just feels like it's just kicked you repeatedly for about 90 minutes, and then afterwards you're just left as this like
emotional wreck.
Sobbing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it touches you. Like, there's not many movies I think elicit that sort of response from me. I know from you there's like millions, but from me,
not on this level though.
No, like
this is a different. There's different types of crying.
Yeah, and this
is probably the only film I've cried like this to.
Yeah,
like I cry at Your Name because it's an emotional movie in terms of like love and loss and stuff.
Yeah,
I cry at this film because this is
upsetting. It's harrowing. Absolutely harrowing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the word.
Yeah, but as harrowing as it is, I still think it's an excellent movie.
Yeah, no, it's definitely it's an amazing movie.
Yeah, it's a hard movie, right? It's a hard movie to recommend.
I would never. There's no situation that someone could be like, "What movie should I watch?"
Yeah,
I'm in X situation, unless that situation is, "Hey, I'm considering dropping a nuclear bomb on another country. What film should I watch?"
Yeah,
and I say, "Watch Barefoot Gen," and then they'd immediately disarm. Hopefully.
Yeah. We have had correspondence about Barefoot Gen.
Oh yeah, from who?
We had an email from Kat.
Oh well, it's only going to be Kat because the episode before this hasn't gone up yet, so only Kat will know that we're doing it.
Yeah, she said the first time I watched Barefoot Gen was at Liam's suggestion when I was alone at home and probably a bit hormonal. I cried big ugly tears. This movie is equal parts beautiful and harrowing.
Yeah,
it lulls you in, then bam, devastation.
Yeah.
It's an absolute roller coaster, and the animation is stunning. It's definitely up there as one of my faves of all time, purely because of how emotional it is and the impact it had on me when I first saw it. And yeah, so Kat went back home for a weekend. I recommended if she got bored, she should watch this. I just had this like Skype call or like FaceTime or something from her, and she was just sitting on her bed, just like tears just running down her face. And she was like, "Why did you make me watch this?"
Yeah, I mean, that was a mean thing of you to do.
It was, but equally, just I don't know how more people haven't seen it. It just watch this movie, honestly. Like, we haven't sold it. I don't think we've done it. Like, if you've listened to all of this culture swap, you're probably not in a position where you're like, this sounds like a movie I want to watch. Don't give a fuck. Watch it.
Yeah, no, you should watch it.
Yeah. Out of 5?
Can we not?
We can not, but
I don't know. I don't feel right rating it.
I gave it 4.5 out of 5.
Okay, I don't feel right rating it.
Yeah, that's fine.
I just feel like it's its own thing.
This to me is the best anime I've ever seen, and I don't know how it would get topped.
Yeah, well,
like I'm sure that I'm confident. It's like I've always said to you. I think there's anime out there that I would really enjoy and I would really love. There's probably an anime somewhere out there that I would prefer to this because it would probably hit me on the same like emotional level, but like not in a
without the harrowing,
not in a like I'm sad way, but in a like how uplifting sort of way. But I don't know how to find it because, like you said, you can't Google movies like Barefoot Gen and be in for a good time.
No, because it's all just Barefoot Gen 2 and Grave of the Fireflies.
Are you going to watch Barefoot Gen 2?
No, I don't think I'll be able to.
Okay, like I have it, so it's now on my list, so I kind of have to at some point.
Maybe you should do it and then do it in housekeeping and just say to me, like, then you can say to me whether it's important that I watch it. Yeah. And then maybe at some point in the future I'll watch it.
Yeah, like, I will get around to it, but I watched this one. I was like, do I want to watch the second one? It's like, one's enough for one day.
I think you definitely need a big period of time between the two.
Yeah.
If the second one's anything like this one.
Which I imagine it will be.
Yeah.
You never know. I could watch the second one and be like, oh yeah, this is now my favourite one because it's just all good things.
It's just a happy story.
Yeah, just everyone's having a good time.
Yep.
It's set in a parallel universe where the bomb didn't drop.
Yeah, you just get to see they're not at war.
Yeah.
You just get to see their happy family.
Yeah, they're not hungry.
No.
They're just loving life. Are you pleased we've done it now?
Well, yeah, like, I'm pleased in that it means you won't complain about other anime, like, as in when we do them.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm, like, not pleased because I've been sad for, like, 5 days.
It's not been that long, has it?
When did I watch it?
Was it not yesterday?
Oh, God, yeah, it was. I feel like it was 5 days.
Yeah.
I watched it yesterday morning before I went to a fun drag show. That probably didn't help the drag show, to be honest.
No, probably not. It probably didn't get you in the mood.
I'd watched Barefoot Gen in the morning and then went to watch a comedy show.
Yeah.
I was just glaring at the drag queen like, you don't understand.
You don't understand the shit I've seen today. It's just that specific scene after the bomb explodes is just possibly one of my favourite scenes in any movie because of how just awful it is. Which is, I know is a weird thing to say.
No, I get what you mean.
It's like, okay, it's not like this thematically, but in the way it made me feel. There's a movie called Irreversible that you might have heard of.
I've heard of it. I've never seen it.
It has somewhat of a reputation, and there is a scene in it that is like this where it's just real hard to watch, and it's the only movie where I had to pause it halfway through just because I couldn't take it anymore. I just had to have like a break and just like collect myself before I finished.
Yeah,
and you know, those sort of movies, they're so hard to want to watch, but I think they're so important that they get watched.
Yeah.
So we might do that in a future culture swap. Who knows?
Maybe not.
Well, we'll see. So that was Barefoot Gen. We've finally done it. We've finally, after what, 3 years?
Yeah.
This is a milestone in the Nerd on Nerd history. It's not often that we make a promise to our listeners that we actually follow through on.
I mean, you made a promise to the listeners.
And we followed through on it.
And it was a selfish promise.
Was it?
Yeah, because you just wanted... Yes, Liam, because you wanted an excuse not to watch anime.
No, I wanted an excuse to make you watch this.
Yeah, fine.
What are we doing next time?
Liam, next time's my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yay, thanks for doing Barefoot Gen, the episode before my birthday.
That's alright, you made me do Princess Mononoke last time for your birthday.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
That's not exactly
I don't know if that compares to you making me watch the most depressing film before my birthday.
I don't know.
But sure, okay. Liam.
Yeah.
For my birthday.
Yeah.
I've picked something very special for you.
Okay. For me?
Because, yeah.
Okay.
Listeners, you don't know this because you don't see the behind the scenes. But I had something picked out for my birthday.
What was
Liam,
it?
I'm not telling you because I might do it in the future. You know what it was.
I know what it was.
Yeah. I'm not going to tell the listeners because it'll be a pleasant surprise. I don't want them to be upset that they didn't get to watch it because you were such a dick.
I think the only reason why...
Liam
let me explain.
And whinged.
The only reason...
And whinged.
The only reason why is because we now have this stupid new rule where if we do a TV show, we do the whole season.
Yeah.
And the whole season of this was like 8 hours. And I was like, Jesus Christ. My track record with anime TV shows is not good.
Yeah, but that's not an excuse not to do it.
No, but if it was
that's such a shit excuse.
I know, but if it was like what with Attack on Titan, if you were like, we're going to do the first 6 episodes, I wouldn't have complained.
Listeners, do you remember that episode? I don't remember how long ago it was, where Liam tried to surprise me by saying he would watch more of Attack on Titan.
It was your last birthday episode.
I tried to promised me that he'd finish it and didn't. So I'm really glad that we keep our promises to our listeners, just not to each other.
Yeah, it was your last birthday episode. Your present was that I was going to finish Attack on Titan.
So I still haven't got that birthday present.
You got some of it. I did 10 episodes.
Whatever.
I struggled.
So anyway, Liam whined and whined about me picking this anime series. He had a little whine. It's one of my favourite ones, honestly. It's maybe my favourite anime ever. Like, show, not film. Listeners know that Princess Mononoke is up there with my favourite film. I don't know if it is my favourite, but Your Name is, obviously. That was a silly thing to say.
Yeah.
Anyway,
obviously.
He whined and whined, so I've decided that, fine, for my birthday, I'll do something that I equally love.
Right.
It's not as long.
Okay.
In fact, it's very short compared to that.
Okay.
I think in total, it's maybe 60 minutes.
Okay.
Liam, what we are watching is a web series called Her Story.
Is this based on the game?
No.
Okay.
It has the same title as that game.
You've spoken to me about this before. It's transgendery, isn't it?
Yes.
Is that... Can I say that?
Well, transgender is not a word, but it's about transgender people, yes.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, you've spoken to me about this.
I've watched it before, and I thought it was amazing when I watched it.
Okay.
It's called Her Story.
How can people find it? Because I'm assuming...
www.herstoryshow.com.
Okay, because we don't want people just Googling and then they find the game.
which we have reviewed on here before.
We have. If they Google right, they might even be able to find our YouTube episode that's up there
It's
with us
just
talking
not
about
at all relevant to what we're doing.
No. So it's hairstoryshow.com, is it?
Yeah.
Cool.
It's only 6 episodes. I think each episode is about 10 minutes long.
Okay. Am I going to learn stuff?
Probably, yeah.
Should I watch it with Kat?
Yeah, I think Kat would maybe enjoy it, yeah.
Has it been in a bread bin?
What?
I don't know. I was just thinking of
Were you trying to do that mineral, animal, vegetable thing?
Sure.
Where they say, does it fit in a bread bin?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Got it wrong though. I said, has it been in a bread bin?
You did. Has it been in a bread bin?
No, I'm quite interested to watch this.
Good. I'm glad.
I think this is a much better choice.
And then for my birthday present, you have to finish Attack on Titan, so there we go.
I can try. I can't promise anything, but I can try.
Do or do not, Liam. There is no try.
There is a try.
No, there is only do or do not.
You could do not something, but also try to do something, but fail.
But then that's do not.
But you can still try.
But you did not.
Probably won't.
It's all getting very confusing. How do listeners get in contact with us, Liam? If they want to contact us and talk about and tell us about her story or Barefoot Gen, because we will do that next episode. If anyone has thoughts on Barefoot Gen, let us know, because I'm aware that this episode's coming out before we've even put the last one up. It's all very confusing.
So Amanda deliberately didn't, as you heard in the housekeeping, right? She didn't listen to the Princess Mononoke. I don't know why, but I always have to repeat that bit. Like, it always throws me every single time. She didn't listen to the Princess Mononoke culture swap because she was saving it until she'd seen the movie. If she's done that this time, 1, thank you, I'm pleased. But also 2, like, I'm kind of sorry.
Yeah.
Like, I hope you got something out of the movie, but equally sorry that I probably made you cry with it.
Yeah. If this is future Amanda, hey, how are you? Let us know.
Were you sad?
Don't say it like that.
Like what?
I don't know, you said it very condescendingly.
Oh,
and almost aggressively. You were like, are you sad?
Are you sad now?
Have we done it?
My work here is done.
Oh my god.
That's it. I started this podcast just to make as many people as possible sad.
Well, you've achieved it. Listeners, you can tweet us at Nerd or Nerd.
Email us.
Pod. Wait. At Nerd or Nerd Pod?
No, Twit is just at Nerd or Nerd.
You do it, Liam, because I get confused.
Okay. You can tweet us at Nerd on Nerd. You can email us nerdonnerdpod@gmail.com. You can Facebook us, which is facebook.com/nerdonnerdpod.
All one word?
All one word. Find us on YouTube, search Nerd on Nerd. We're still uploading old episodes. We're still getting Ellie's name wrong on them. We'll get there. It'll start getting right soon-ish. What episode was the Introducing Ellie one?
I don't know.
I think like 50 or something, wasn't it?
Sure.
We'll get there. iTunes. Has anyone left us a review lately?
I don't have the iTunes open.
Probably not. If you want to, you can. You can give us a rating. You can review us. That would be nice. We have a Twitch channel. Don't use it, but we have it.
We might eventually use it.
It's Nerd on Nerd. Probably won't. Yeah, no new reviews.
Cool.
Our last review was from September 2017.
Oh, that's not that bad.
What?
I thought it would be much worse than that.
Yeah, I guess it is under a year ago.
Yeah.
But still. So yeah, do us a favour. Tell your friends.
Spread the word. Shows like us thrive on word of mouth.
Yeah, and
if you've got any friends that just can't wait to hear about nuclear genocide, send them this episode.
Yeah.
If anyone knows Donald Trump's email address, send him this episode.
Don't. Just don't. I had a dream about him the other day.
Anything happen in it?
Yeah, it's fucked up. So, I know it's really boring hearing about other people's dreams, so I'm going to be as brief as I possibly can.
It's at the end of the episode after we've done all the contacts. Listeners, you can turn it off now if you want. Liam's going to tell me about a dream.
Yeah. I was at secondary school. Yeah. It was just like, it was just coming back after summer break, but it was like in the middle of a heat wave, okay? So
okay.
Like what we can't...
Your dreams, I don't know where they come from.
No. Okay. I was in like a class. I had a person next to me who I'd never met before, and behind me was Donald Trump.
In the class?
In the class.
Okay.
So we get our textbooks out, and we start like making notes and writing down.
I hope this ends with Donald Trump bullying you.
All of a sudden, he leans over his desk, puts his head right in my friend's notebook, sniffs it, and then sits back. And I'm just like in a state of disbelief. I look at the teacher's looking over. I look at my friend's like, what the fuck just happened? my new friend. And I look
Yeah.
back at Donald Trump and he's just sat there looking all smug. And the teacher says nothing. Like, the teacher has seen it, but says nothing. And this irks me. So I put my hand up and I'm like, sir, what should we do if someone just sniffs some of our stuff? And the teacher goes, just drop it. Like, they just don't want to deal with it. So this annoys me even more. So I turn around to Donald Trump and I'm like, do you want to sniff my book as well then? Which he does.
Of course.
Right? And then afterwards we were at lunch and I'm with my new friend. And my new friend, this is where it gets like really weird. My new friend is like, I've got a boat, do you want to go sailing? And I say yes.
You don't like sailing, Liam?
Exactly. The
Oh my
fuck
God.
is going on in this dream?
Weird.
Like, what was that about?
Sorry, that's where it ends.
Yeah. That's it.
Oh.
Can you explain that?
No.
I've had another dream I had it for the second time last night. So I guess now it's recurring, where I'm dating a girl, don't recognise her, like, after the dream. In the dream, obviously, she's my girlfriend, it's fine. Her mum, most of the time, is absolutely fine. And then, like, a couple of days every month, like, forgets who she is. Sort of like an acute type of dementia almost.
Yeah.
And tries to escape. And then we have to spend, like, the dream looking for her mum, who's, like, trying to get away from us and, like, climbing over people's back garden fences and stuff. I don't know what that means either.
Bye.
Bye.